More from U.S. government, 113,490 doses of Pfizer vaccines lands in country. Grab a copy of the A to Z newspaper and read more on the stories inside. The Independent Observer newspaper, its front page reads, SLRA signs MOU with Gambia National Roads Authority. Kamarainba says U.S. passport was burnt in McKinney fire. In two sworn affidavits, ACC and Audit Service meet to strengthen partnership. Grab a copy of the Independent Observer and read more on the inside stories. The Night Watch newspaper, its front page reads, Bureau splits SLPP. And stiff bail for Kamarainba still in custody. 13 political parties grouped and signed MOU. Grab a copy of the Night Watch newspaper and read more on the stories in there. The New Age newspaper, its front page reads, NCP energized to transform COES. Government makes progress in attaining free quality education. And you can see the photo of HE President Bill. Rokel Bank MD features on list of 50 most reputable bank CEOs in Africa. The Salon Compass newspaper, its front page reads, ACC cover-up antics unattended. AfriCell to expand its network coverage. Why government should enforce local content policy is a question being asked here. Grab a copy of the Salon Compass and read more on the stories inside. The Nationalist newspaper, its front page reads, SLPP is corruptly corrupt. Africanist press challenges ACC's whitewashed investigation. ECOWAS's media body rights parliament. All of this could be found on the Nationalist newspaper. Grab a copy and read more on the stories inside. From there, we take the Prime Times newspaper, its front page reads, more laurels for Salon. RCDMD on list of 50 most reputable bank CEOs. Bogus curfew lifted, 113,490 US Pfizer vaccines for Sierra Leone. Grab a copy of the Premier Times, the Prime Times newspaper and read more on the stories in there. The Orator newspaper, its front page reads, Bureau upgrades 100 school facilities nationwide. Dr. Wilton Ekundayo Jilpin wins 50 most influential bank CEOs in Africa. Grab a copy of the Orator newspaper and read more on the stories inside. The Sierra Express Media newspaper, its front page reads, Bumpy road to APC convention. PPRC Secretariat accused of complicity. Military may head correctional center. Grab a copy of the Sierra Express newspaper and read more on the stories in there. Our final newspaper for this morning is the Watch newspaper. Its front page reads, Panic grips importers and exporters. CSO decides 9-man committee report on lands. And then Vision Academy School to excel. Well, gentlemen, these are the front pages of our newspapers this morning. Let me, at this juncture, welcome Daniel Espera to the show. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Swali.
You've not been late for previous shows. I was wondering whether you were going to come because you've always been here on time.
Exactly.
Anyways, yeah.
To the center of town.
All right. So viewers, you can be part of the show this morning by sending us your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, which is the Africa Young Voices Media Empire. We take the first newspaper here, and I'll start with the banner headline, which says, Kamarainba appears today. And it's coming from the AYV newspaper. I'll read the first two paragraphs, and my panelists will come in to actually have it discussed. Kamarainba appears today. Mohamed Kamarainba Mansari and co-accused Marion Aruni will today, Tuesday, 14 September 2021, appear before Honorable Justice Samuel O. Taylor. The accused persons were granted bail on Tuesday, 7 September 2021 by the Sexual Offences Model Court on 8 counts of sexual penetration, meeting a child for sexual purpose, and conspiracy, among others. The first accused was granted bail in the sum of 100 million leones and two sureties in like sum. One surety must be a house owner with property situated in the western area of the Republic of Sierra Leone and should produce an original title deed to the master and registrar. In addition, sureties should produce proof of residence, ID cards, passport pictures, and the other accused person should deposit same to the master and registrar. He must also report 3 times in a week to the master and registrar and sign an attendance book reserved for this purpose. He must deposit to the master and registrar all traveling documents, both foreign and national. Pursuant to the aforementioned, one of the lawyers of the first accused approached the master's office for the first time on Thursday, 9 September 2021. The two sureties, Aisha Bibi Kuruma, self-employed, and Swaibu A.K. Dumbuya, a retired driver, were brought into the master's office after 5 p.m. on Thursday. According to the documents submitted, among the documents submitted were 1 new Sierra Leonean passport for the first accused, Kamarainba, with only a Guinean entry visa, an affidavit signed by him, first accused, stating that he does not own any other traveling documents aside from the new Sierra Leonean passport submitted, a title deed with no violation reports and identification cards for the two sureties. A very lengthy story here, gentlemen, but I've just read the first 2 paragraphs, and I'll start with you, Daniel Esper, from the civil society angle. The writer here is saying that Kamarainba is still behind bars, even after being granted bail about a week ago, for the simple reason explained here that he has not met the bail conditions. Why grant him bail?
Thank you very much. I think for the consumption of our viewers and listeners, it will be disingenuous to those who are actually they have been suggesting otherwise, or they have been accusing the system that Kamarainba is being targeted as a politician because he's a politician. We from the civil society, of course, this has been our call on government, so that there is a need for Kamarainba to be put on bail, not just because he was sick or he was reported sick while in prison, and at some point there were rumors that he is dead. But thankfully, we've all seen that he's alive, though he's not feeling bright. I'm not a medical practitioner, but you don't need to be a medical somebody for you to know that he is sick. However, now that the court has fulfilled his own part, well, I will not say by listening to civil society or the general public, but now that he has been granted bail, you will agree with me that every bail goes with a condition. There are times, of course, it is discretional on the presiding judge to actually ascertain what should be the conditions for you to be actually granted that bail. Unfortunately, Kamarainba, according to the writer, and from all what we have learned, even from the judiciary itself, Kamarainba's family members or friends have been unable to actually secure his bail because of the fact that documents they are expecting from Kamarainba as somebody to benefit from or enjoy that privilege to be bailed are not completed. And when you, of course, if you read further, you will know that that is where the master and registrar of the courts or of the judiciary is actually hinging on, that indeed, though he has been granted bail, but that does not mean he will be out of remand based on the fact that
he has not met conditions.
Yes. One, like I said, is traveling documents. The courts or the registrar is saying that that is not the only document he has. because for us, we know Kamarainba to have come from the United States. And it is also clear that he's a green card owner. A green card does not mean a passport. It is like any identity card. It is unique. But his passport appears to be new. It is a Sierra Leonean passport, and it has only one visa. Visa from Guinea. So that, has rang a bell in the minds of so many, right-thinking people, or has raising so many eyebrows that
Pewa, he's saying here that his American passport was actually burnt in a fire accident in McKinney. So could this be a defense for him to be granted?
I would not endorse it, and I would not deny it. Based on, of course, you and I know that there was an inferno. I don't know whether it is in McKinney, but at some point, his office located along Rodin Street.
That happened in Freetown.
Yes.
The claim here
down.
is
but
saying
the claim now that
the document was burnt in McKinney, in an inferno.
Of course, like I said, it's brings in mixed feeling in the minds of so many others. But this is not just unique with Kamarainba.
Yeah.
And Kamarainba's case, being a political figure, people are now taking it from the criminal angle, to a political angle. And this is where we continue to, tell the general public that there are so many other, related suspects behind bars at Pademba Road or the correctional center.
Yeah.
But people are more concerned about Kamarainba's case simply because he's a political figure. So
okay.
That's why I said we will be even disingenuous to even the victim, the alleged victim, because it's like people are now seeking the interest of Kamarainba and they're ignoring that of
the law.
Well, not just the law, even the victim. Okay. Because in all of this, like I said, we have seen people being, put behind bars for same offenses. And people are not talking on their behalf. People are not, calling on the authorities to, seek their release or otherwise. But Kamarainba's case is being trumpeted everywhere simply because it's a political.
Let me hold you there, Pewa. Of course, viewers be part of the show by sending us your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, which is the African Young Voices Media Empire. And mark you, the topic we are discussing is presently in court, and therefore we should be conscious of sub judice, myself and my panelists, so that we will not be dragged to court after the program. And so let's be conscious of what we say here. All right. So you have listened, Austin. Dan, what's your take on Kamarainba still being under detention or behind bars, even after being granted bail?
Well, all what people were crying for was that he should be granted bail. That was the cry
of the people.
Cry. Now,
forgetting that there are stiff bails.
Yes, he has been granted bail and he's yet to meet the bail conditions. Okay. So today he has to appear again because he should have been out at least a week before appearing today for the matter again. But unfortunately, he's still incarcerated because he was unable, or his team were unable to meet the bail conditions. So he will go back to court today to continue the matter. And we hope that maybe this week they might be able to meet the bail conditions so that he will be out. Because the reason, in fact, for me, the reason why I think he was granted bail was the weekend when the rumor came out that he was dead. Yeah, indeed. So I think the judge,
in his wisdom,
said, okay, after 14 months incarceration, okay, let's grant him bail. But meeting the bail conditions,
yes, let's look at what the writer is saying here. That indeed the court is requesting for every traveling document, both local and national and international.
Yes.
And his lawyers have only been able to present a Sierra Leonean passport, a new one for that matter, that has just one visa, which is from neighboring Guinea to Sierra Leone. Considering the fact that Kamarainba himself has lived so long in the US, he has his family there, his kid, and so on and so forth, it is expected that, yes, there should be a US traveling document, but yet that has not been presented to the court. And the defense is it was burnt down in the fire incident in McKinney. So could we say that the court should be a bit flexible in accepting the fact or the defense presented by Kamarainba's lawyers?
I don't think it's only about the passport. There are conditions he has to meet for him to be granted bail, not only the passport.
That is talking just one.
Yes, talking about the passport, Kamarainba should have denounced his U.S. citizenship before contesting the last election.
That doesn't mean his passport was taken away from him.
He has already told you that his passport was burnt, and he swore an affidavit to that. But what I'm saying is the most important traveling document he should have is the Sierra Leone passport. He should not be traveling with the U.S. passport because he has denounced the U.S. citizenship. But that was the reason why the Honorable Kekewa was taken to court. So because if you have to contest,
should have denounced.
Yes. But the matter is, they did not meet the bail conditions.
And even the shorties are being questioned.
Yes, you have to meet the bail conditions.
Even the shorties. So
if you meet the bail conditions...
I agree with you. The passport is not just the issue.
Yes,
even the shorties who went,
of course,
there are question marks. Are being questioned. And so, exactly, and she's not permanently resident here, but rather a resident in the U.S. And so the court is a bit jittery.
Of course,
that if we grant this bail,
when the lawyer states the conditions, that's the conditions you have to meet with the master registrar before you will grant a bail.
Okay. All right. So we still wait, as he appears today to hear the outcome of
maybe he might be
court.
Lucky. The judge can
use another.
Can cut down on the conditions so that it can be out.
All right, let's wait to see today's outcome. Viewers, be part of the show. Send us your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, the African Young Voices Media Empire. Now we take the Premier News newspaper, which says, the banner headline, which says, government lifts curfew. Daniel Esper has been waiting for that so long. And where is the story found? Yeah, it's not reading there. Government lifts curfew.
Yeah, we saw the press release yesterday.
Yes, we actually saw the press release, but I just want to read from the writer here, and then we see exactly what happens. Okay, I don't think there's a story on it. I cannot find it here. But we'll still have it discussed because we've all seen the press release. And paramount amongst the restrictions that were lifted, which every other Sierra Leonean have been wishing for, is that of the curfew. We've done several stories, we've done several vox pop on the street of Freetown, and Sierra Leoneans, we are calling on NACOVAC to actually have the curfew being lifted. Some who are not even paying attention to our religious houses as to whether, they should actually have bans being lifted on religious houses to have their normal time of worship as well as the entertainment center. But the curfew was the most paramount. And so, Daniel Esper, having the curfew been lifted, right? And now we'll have people going about their normal businesses and so on. In fact, every other restriction have been lifted because the Rick's communication pillar lead was on air this morning saying that indeed they have actually lifted every other restriction, but there are still conditions they expect Sierra Leoneans to meet. Like mandatory use of the face mask, hand washing, and of course entering public places you must have shown a proof of vaccination. Your bite on this?
It's an interesting one, and of course, I will not say thank you to government because it has been long, overdue. But what from the civil society angle, because we talk for those, or we agitate for those who cannot be heard. Lifting of the curfew itself means a lot. It tells you that people can now go freely about their normal activities. And don't forget, most of our mothers and sisters, uncles, does their petty trading, and it is from the proceeds of those businesses that they do cater for their families or support their families. So it was a big challenge, having the curfew in place. all this while. But thankfully, it has been lifted, and that has also, brought in a sigh of relief to citizens. Don't forget, people were just talking about bars and restaurants. Most of us who does eat cookery in the streets, more especially after a day, activity in the evening, you go somewhere, you eat your one plate of cookery, and then you go home. All those ones were not there. And even the coffee was also undermining the issue of social distancing. Why am I saying this? Because by the time it is 6, 7 o'clock, people begin to scramble. More especially so those coming from the far east and far west. And that is where we are also calling on government and NACOVA to actually ensure that the capacity, the seating capacity on board those public transports is also revised. Of course, Walio, you're not a stranger for Brother Thomas, Austin Thomas. He has a car. But for those of us who take public transports to and fro, from our daily activities or back home, we are having a huge challenge, very huge challenge. Imagine there has been a shortage of transportation for both the far west and the far east. And there has also been a restriction on the capacity of, taxi and that of keke. So if you were to, if a keke was to take, let's say, 3 passengers on board that keke to a particular destination, and that number has been reduced to 2, it means one person is now suffering because of the number or the or capacity of that traveling vessel. So we even though the curfew has been lifted, but let government also see reason why they should revert back to the old seating capacity on board those public transportation. But again, as responsible citizens, we the people who have been very supportive of government and complimenting government effort by actually adhering to or imbibing the culture of social distancing, hand washing, wearing or face mask, and at the same time ensuring that we go by all the protocols that we are put in place by the health authorities. So in as much as the curfew has been lifted, we as people, let us also adhere to the wearing of face masks, and at the same time regular hand washing. Of course, social distancing is difficult, but we are in Africa. We cannot do otherwise, because you see 8 people eating from the same bowl, so it's very, very, but social distancing, and then that of actually taking the vaccination is very, very key.
All right.
Once more, on behalf of civil society, we want to thank government
for lifting the restrictions. All right. We will definitely just take a short break. After that, I'll come to Austin to actually have his bite on that. Let's take a very short break and we'll be back.
Get all your breaking, factual, and balanced local and international news from AYV Direct to your mobile phone via SMS. To subscribe on AfriCell, send star to 298 and stay connected for only 300 leones per day. Get all your breaking, factual, and balanced local and international news from AYV Direct to your mobile phone via SMS. To subscribe on AfriCell, send star to 298 and stay connected for only 300 leones per day. Get all your breaking, factual, and balanced local and international news from AYV Direct to your mobile phone via SMS. To subscribe on AfriCell, send star to 298 and stay connected for only 300 leones per day.
Right, viewers, welcome back. You're still watching the front page here on AYV Television on channel 33. And of course, you can be part of the show by sending us your views, comments, and contributions via our Facebook page, which is the Africa Young Voices Media Empire. Now, Austin, before we went for the break, Pewa had already given his own bet on the lifting of curfew and other restrictions. And I know you have been reporting on health. We're very much abreast. I don't want to say as opposed to Pewa, but you've been following the issue.
Of course.
How will this impact our
So
health sector?
first and foremost, have you taken the vaccine?
I am fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated.
What about you, Mr.
That's
Pewa?
it.
Take your bites.
Pewa will not like to answer you on
You
air,
need to
but
take-
he
you
will
need
do
to
it
take the
privately.
vaccine.
I am
You need to
fully,
take the
I am
vaccine.
fully vaccinated.
My answer is not for public consumption.
All
You
right.
need to take the vaccine. It's for public consumption.
Okay.
We are front leaders
indeed.
to help people to know that the vaccine
Have no
is safe.
fear to call us
Yes.
frontline workers
Yes,
of
of
the COVID.
course. The thing is, NACOVAC is working with data. NACOVAC believes in science,
Sure.
just like most of us who believe in science. They know that when the time comes to lift the curfew, they will do it, because in as much as, in fact, right now the fourth wave has started. We must not lose sight of that. It has already started. But we've tried and turned the curve of the third wave. And so NACOVAC thought it fit that it's time for us to return back to normalcy. But returning back to normalcy does not mean that we have to be complacent. They are talking about social distancing, face mask, and washing of hands. But the most important is the vaccine. Now, the war is for the unvaccinated. We have to make sure that we take the vaccine. Presently, we have 4 different types of vaccine in town. So people have the
Sinopharm, the Astra,
Pfizer,
and
J&J.
Johnson & Johnson.
Yes, all of them. And the J&J is 1 dose.
Yeah, it's just one dose.
1 dose. So taking the vaccine will solve or will help solve this problem for us. And now what NACOVAC is saying, in as much as we've lifted the curfew, but accessing public buildings, you must prove that you've taken at least 1 dose of the vaccine, which for me is good, because we have been watching the Premier League. We saw the stadiums, all of the stadiums are jam-packed, but you can't enter the stadium if you're not vaccinated.
You must show proof
You
of
must
vaccination.
show proof of vaccination. You must. In other countries, even entering shopping malls, you must show proof of vaccination, because when we are vaccinated, we cannot, the virus cannot be transmitted from us anymore. So we cut down the transmission when we are vaccinated. And that is what the world is preaching against.
And so one thing I want to bring up is that when I listened the Rick's communication pillar lead this morning, he emphasized the fact that yes, entertainment centers have been actually reopened,
Yes.
right? And sporting activities have been reopened. But he stressed on them checking proof of vaccination before entering those places.
Yes.
Now let's assume somebody wants to go to club at night and he dresses up and just forget that I should take, because it's not part of the things you actually take to the club, you know. And you go there, you face an embarrassment.
Well, that's why they said prevention is better than cure. Now they are making it very
Is that
clear.
achievable? That's what I'm trying to ask.
It will not be an
For
easy
NACOVAC
task.
to be checking
It will not
clubs,
be an
night
easy,
clubs,
of course, it will not
and
be an
other
easy
places
task.
to ensure that people
But
have proof of vaccination before entering there.
It will not be an easy task, but sending that message at least is moving on the right direction.
Will help, yeah?
Yes, it's not an easy task.
Indeed.
Now the curfew has been lifted. Places of worship should return back to normalcy.
Yeah.
Although we must keep the social distancing, the washing of hands and whatnot. But the main reason for this lifting of the curfew is to improve the economy presently, because there are many areas that were starving economically. Now that the curfew has been lifted, it will open up the economy once more. But as we open the economy, this is September. We are very close to the holidays. We must not let down our guard. the fourth wave has started. The fourth wave has started, and we must not allow ourselves to be caught hands down by the fourth wave. We must continue to obey what NACOVAC is saying. We must continue to work within the confines of the law, so that because one thing I am happy about the press release that NACOVAC released was that come the 27th,
yes, that's
September,
just the portion I want to read here from
September,
the Awoko newspaper. It's saying, yes, from 27th September 2021, all unvaccinated passengers traveling into Sierra Leone will undergo mandatory quarantine at their own cost,
yes,
until proof of negative PCR results.
Yes.
Will this not scare away people from coming?
Presently, you can't leave. If you leave Sierra Leone now, traveling to the UK, as you arrived at the UK, you are going on a 10 days mandatory quarantine, which is 1,587 pounds at your own cost. That's huge money. That is why many people.
So is that what we are? Is that why we are reciprocating?
No, we are
here?
not reciprocating.
Because people are now even restricted from traveling to UK from Sierra Leone.
No, we are not reciprocating.
So if we are actually having days,
believe
will that
in
not
the
prevent
science.
people also
No,
from doing otherwise?
if you look at the data the last 1 month, majority of the cases we are having are inbound passengers.
Yes, indeed.
That is the most important thing. It's not about what
Indeed.
UK is saying. It's about the inbound passengers coming in. For every day you will see from all the 16 districts.
Yes,
000 and inbound
passengers.
Inbound 3.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. We must make, and that portion of the press release is very good. That inbound passengers, before coming in, you must be vaccinated. You must have gone through all the crucibles.
So you fully support that aspect of the publication.
Coronavirus is
imported.
very expensive.
Very expensive.
It's a very expensive disease.
Okay.
It doesn't come by sea. It doesn't come by road. Most of when we add it came by air.
Yeah, majority. But
Majority
it
came by air.
That actually came.
Yes, so we need to be very.
I think Pea wants to.
I have a reservation on this.
What's it?
I have a reservation on this. My reservation is that now if NACOVAC or the government is saying that anybody that comes through Lunge International Airport without a proof of vaccination, you'll be quarantined for a period of time at your own cost. Yeah. Would that not tell the incoming passengers not to come directly to Lunge or via Lunge?
They will not be using
Guinea, and then they come in. I think what government should do, because you see criminals. Well, I'm not calling them criminals, but you see people.
People always try to beat system.
Exactly, the system.
Always try to beat systems.
I think what government should do is any country that a plane or a flight is taken off from, before that individual boards the flight, he must show a proof of vaccination. I think it's better. But if they say it is at Lunge, they will be checking them and quarantine them at their own cost. They will be coming via Guinea, and it will not help the situation. And like Mr. Austin was saying...
So, but maybe Guinea is also having their own conditions, maybe stiffer than ours.
No, I don't think so.
I don't want you to go that far. Presently, in most of the European countries, America and other areas, now it's a passport. Vaccination is a passport. You must be vaccinated before entering their country.
That is what I'm saying.
No, it's not about going. You are coming to Sierra Leone. If you want to go through Guinea, that's your business. But the most important thing is Sierra Leone has to be protected, just like what all the other European countries are.
We are talking the same thing in different language.
He's trying to say that because people do not want to be quarantined at their own cost for that period of time, they will not come via Lunge International Airport, but rather use Guinea and then come by land to Sierra Leone. So they've already beat the system.
The system will not be beaten.
It makes us more susceptible to the disease.
The system will not be beaten.
So how do you think they will be trapped moving away from Freetown International Airport to Lunge, to Guinea, and then they come via, let's say, Balamuya?
Yeah, Balamuya and coming.
How will
the system will not be beaten because that's a border crossing. And the system is there.
Yes. But
the system is there already. You can't beat the system.
Austin,
It is there
I
already.
am coming from the east.
You are aware of
I
it.
know.
I am coming from the
know
east.
what you are
You
saying.
have more than 50 porous border crossing points that are not manned by any security forces. And because people want to beat the system, they would rather prefer to go to Guinea and then come by land so repetitiously.
How many of them
Well,
were caught?
the press release is actually saying anyone entering Sierra Leone from another country. It's not actually specific on Freetown International Airport. And so, but the point Pewa is making is people always try to beat the system because they will know for sure that very big pressure will be mounted at the Freetown International Airport.
And they cannot balance
and
it.
Definitely it cannot be beaten.
Yeah.
And so therefore they try to bypass it by going via Guinea, or some come via Liberia and then cross via either the Balangwea checkpoint or that of the Gendema crossing. The Gendema crossing point.
I know much about.
Yes, Balangwea, of course. Yes,
I'm coming from.
You and I have
where
been
I'm
there
coming
for several
from.
occasions.
Where I'm coming from, you can be here and talk to somebody in Guinea. You can be on the other side of Sierra Leone.
It's just it's just
but what you are saying, majority of these people traveling with their luggages coming.
We will not want to go through that constraint.
Going to use bush path.
Anyways,
the point we are. The most important thing is most of the cases where we had this last 1 month are inbound.
Yes. That one cannot be.
For example, all those who went to Japan for the Paralympics and the Olympics, it was clear. They said they don't stop you from traveling. But if you enter Japan, you must be vaccinated.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they don't.
Yes,
you must be vaccinated.
Yes, that was one of the criteria.
So this is what is happening. Most European countries now.
We are in support of that.
It is because the only solution to stopping the virus is the vaccine.
In fact, people are missing the point that if we try to beat the system or does not conform to the dictates of NACOVAC and that of government, do you know what will happen? If they institute another coffee, it is you and I who will suffer the more.
Of course.
So it is
that
better.
is why we
are calling
campaigning for more people to take the vaccine.
And it was clearly stated that if people do not comply and cases begin to come up, restrictions will be reversed.
Yes. So
all right. So we are actually
is to stop hospitalization and stop transmission.
Of course, exactly. Sure. So we are appealing to the general public. We are joining NACOVAC to actually appeal to all of us, Sierra Leoneans, to come out willingly, take the vaccines. Now we've got many doses of vaccines in Sierra Leone. If you do not want to go for the Sinopharm, you can go for the Astra. If again you do not want to go for Astra, you can go for the Johnson & Johnson, or you go for the Pfizer. So we have a lot. We have a lot in country, and it will reach a time when you'll be paying for these things. So it's high time you started taking it now when government is actually giving it.
Let them send the Johnson & Johnson
is actually giving
provincial areas.
All over, they are sending all four of them.
Every vaccination point has the 4 vaccines.
4 vaccines.
So it doesn't mean if you are in Freetown, you have the Johnson & Johnson, or if you are in Kenema, you have the Pfizer. No. Every vaccination point has the 4 vaccines.
Now we have the luxury to choose which
one you choose. Just that you cannot take the Pfizer for those one, and you go and take Astra for those 2. No,
to be counterproductive on
exactly.
No, because all of them are different.
Yeah.
So if
they are different.
With Pfizer,
you continue with that.
With
and interestingly, the J&J is 1 dose.
It's just 1 dose.
So I want to believe that will not stay long in Sierra Leone. People are going to.
Maybe it has been exhausted already.
Oh yeah.
If I had not taken, I would have.
You will have. Okay, but we started with.
We started with
the Astra and the Sinopharm, and so there's no way you can jump over.
No, we are okay now.
All right, it's front page, and we forget about the vaccine and whatever restriction lifted. Now we take our next story, which is bringing Parliament on the spotlight again. It says Parliament undermines press freedom, and the story is from the Premier News newspaper. It's been written by Saliu S. Kanu. I'll read the first 2 paragraphs. It's saying the West African Parliamentary Press Corps has said in a letter addressed to the Clerk of Parliament of Sierra Leone, Honorable Paran Omar Tarawali, has said that the recent reconstitution exercise houses press gallery by the leadership of Parliament interferes with the independence of the media and undermines press freedom. The story continues on page 9. All right. The WAPPC said in its letter dated September 9, 2021, that the attention of the West African Parliamentary Press Corps has been drawn to a public notice by your office dated 27th of July 2021 announcing the reconstitution of the Parliamentary Press Gallery leadership pursuant to Standing Orders 80 of the House Rules of Procedure. As a responsible body of parliamentary reporters in the West African sub-region, we believe strongly that the involvement of Parliament in the reconstitution of the Press Gallery leadership in the absence of any election violates Article 32 of the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance entered into by member states. WAPPC said in the letter, for the purpose of clarity, Article 32 under Section 7 on page 18 of the document seeks to uphold the rule of law, human rights, and good governance, with member states agreeing that good governance and press freedom are essential for preserving social justice, preventing conflicts, guaranteeing political stability and peace, and for strengthening of democracy. A lengthy one here, gentlemen, but these are the first two paragraphs I've just read. And so I'll start with you for obvious reasons. Austin, you are not a parliamentary reporter, but I guess you've been following. And from what, okay, I just forgot that, in fact, you've also reported there. But the fact here is Parliament is being accused of actually meddling into the affairs of the media, which, according to the letter written to the clerk of the House of Parliament, is definitely unconstitutional.
Yes. The Parliamentary Press Gallery is made up of journalists from different press houses
Who reports
on Parliament issues.
Yeah.
And these reporters are sent by their media houses. So, first and foremost, the media house can withdraw their reporter and send anyone. That is point number one.
Exactly.
So they are not working for Parliament. They are working for
Parliament
their media
hasn't
houses.
got any control
they
over
do not
them.
have that control over them.
Okay.
Just like the court reporters.
A very salient point.
Yes, just like the court reporters.
Yeah.
The media
so
house.
Just like any reporter of any
Yeah,
niche,
of course.
you are being controlled by your media
By
house.
your media house, not the Parliament.
You're right.
You see, so they send you there because, like for us in Awoko, almost every year we do rotation.
Okay.
After you cover Parliament for 1 year, maybe we send you to court. From court, we send you to other areas.
Okay.
Because we control our reporter, not Parliament. So it was in, I think, about 10 years ago when, 10 or 15 years ago when the journalists were there, Abdulrahman Swari, who is now deputy at NSA Sports Authority.
Okay.
Yes, Abdulrahman Swari and others came together and said, okay, we are reporting from Parliament. Let's just organize ourselves into a group. And they organized themselves to a group and said, okay, it was passed on to the clerk that now we are reporting for our media houses in Parliament. So we've organized ourselves as the press gallery. And they gave them the okay. Said anything you want, we will assist you because you are reporting on our behalf.
Issues. You are bringing us to the public.
You see.
Yeah, I say, Austin, I think you've raised a very good...
that's the problem.
You've raised a very good point. Because assuming, Parliament, appoints executive members, because the letter is saying there was no election conducted.
Yes.
And you, for instance, appoint Austin as president of the Parliamentary Press Gallery. And in the morning, Awoko says, okay, Austin, we are moving you from Parliament to court.
Yes.
What happens to that position?
That's it.
And so that justifies the fact that Parliament should not control journalists.
They should not. They should not.
All right, let me bring in the civil society man. You are not a journalist, but I think you are a Sierra Leonean and you've been following issues, I think about a month or two ago, we saw, Parliament actually appointing people. In fact, somebody called me, a friend who reports there, and said he actually received a call at night that, hey, we want you this position, you want to, and then in the morning he saw his name on the list as an executive member. So building from what Austin has just said, that indeed it is the media houses that control whosoever that reports on any niche. Has Parliament got that right to actually appoint members of the media into executive positions who report at Parliament?
I have a mixed feeling
Okay.
based on what Mr. Thomas made mention of. That, of course, we all know that Parliament itself is an autonomous body, and it is one of the arms of government. And according to Mr. Thomas, that those who were working there by then saw the need to come together and form this. Meaning, by law, if we are to go by law, in itself is not legal.
What is not legal here?
It's not legal to say, because they form themselves to a group to be reporting on issues in Parliament, has no legal legs to say that Parliament should not control them.
Okay.
Why am I saying this? I'm simply saying that in as much as it is not documented, because don't forget, Parliament itself has its own publicity, aspects
Austin,
of
I believe these people have got their own constitutional bylaws, right?
Yes, they are under sludge. They are not under Parliament.
That
They are under sludge.
That is what I'm saying.
Just
And I
like
think
the court reporters.
The law did not
the conflict
say-
is now between sludge and that.
The law
Yes,
is not.
the conflict
I am
is between
Parliament is
sludge
saying
and
we have the
Parliament.
right to do so, and plus sludge is saying no.
No, you don't have the right.
These are members under our constituents,
This
and
is it.
therefore we should control them.
Of
Swallow,
course.
Yes.
Swallow, to a very large extent, Parliament has no business in controlling what should be controlled by sludge.
Okay.
That body is not under their whims and caprices.
Indeed.
They are just there to report the activities of Parliament.
That's
Because
it.
Parliament represents the people.
Exactly.
And it is not everybody that has the ability or the alacrity to go and tell a parliamentarian that this is what I want you to do for my constituency. So whatever they deliberate or whatever deliberation that takes place there needs to be brought to the fore of the public. And who does that? It is the parliamentary press gallery.
Gallery, yes.
Yeah. So of course, I will say it unequivocally that Parliament is missing the point.
Okay.
They are usurping the powers of sludge.
Indeed.
Which should not be, the case here.
All right.
So,
okay,
going forward-
let's hold it there, and see. But one may want to wonder, why is Parliament so interested in having the press gallery being appointed, executive members being appointed by them? That's the question that will be playing on the minds of many of
It's
them.
very simple.
In the meantime, let us
Are you
take our
surprised?
messages.
Are you surprised?
Let us take messages from our Facebook page and give opportunities to our viewers to actually hear their voices. Momo Fowa is saying, why should they set different conditions for Kamarainba? This is someone who wants to lead but can't meet the best of bail conditions for his own freedom. He will run away at the slightest chance given to him. All right, that's your view. And then David Katie is saying, I don't think you can have a green card and U.S. passport at the same time.
Of course.
The USA does not grant two status
Of
at the
course.
same time. All right, I think he's making corrections to Pewa, who said
From green card to passport.
all right.
That's
Abdul
what I said.
Karim is saying it's a shame that Kamarainba can't be bailed up to now with all the big talk he used to talk. Carl Kamara is saying Nakovac, please, that $130 COVID test cost is in and out of the country at the Lungi airport is a fraud and cheating. European Union have paid for the testing. Saloon na place. All right, that's your allegation. I don't think I have a response to that, or my panelists, but I think Nakova can react to that. And
Of
then
course.
David Katie is again saying, why should the House be required to be in the western area alone? Is the inferior not part of Sierra Leone? Oh, Saloon, God save us. I don't know, what house is he at?
The shorties to own a property in Freetown.
Oh, okay,
yes,
in
Western
Kamarainba's
area.
case.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
in Kamarainba's
Kamarainba.
case. All right, the last message I'll say here is Patrick Wuri. It's coming from Patrick Wuri. He says, public building, Parliament, hope parliamentarians had. Thank you very much, viewers and listeners of the program. And then, gentlemen, just in one minute, your pattern message. Time is not our friend. I'll begin with you, Austin.
Yes, for me, I just want to say, let's continue to keep our guard and make sure that we take the vaccine so that we can stop the transmission, because the vaccine stops transmission and hospitalization.
Hospitalization, indeed. Thank you very much. And then, Pewa, your parting message.
I think government has done its own parts of the issue, but it's now left with us, because it is very, very important that if we don't want to go back to where we are coming from, that is the institution of the curfew and other restrictions, then we should imbibe the culture of not only wearing of masks, but also taking the vaccine, because it is only the vaccine that will boost your immunity.